The sun that never sets on love in the heart of our beautiful Ghana. In a small village surrounded by tall palm trees and the sweet scent of cocoa, lived a young man named Kofi. Kofi was strong, kind, and his laughter could make even the oldest baobab tree smile. His heart, however, belonged to one person, Amma. Amma lived in the neighboring village, a place separated from Kofi's by a gentle, winding river. She had a smile that could outshine the morning sun and a spirit as free as the eagles that soared above the hills. Kofi knew, from the first time he saw her at the market, that his life's path was meant to be walked with her. They would meet by the river, sharing dreams and stories under the watchful eyes of the moon. Their love grew, deep and strong, like the roots of the Iroko tree. After many months, Kofi felt it in his soul. It was time. He was going to ask Amma to be his wife. With his heart pounding like a talking drum, Kofi went to his father, a respected elder in the village, a man whose wisdom was sought by many. He sat before him, his head bowed in respect. "Father," Kofi began, his voice filled with a mix of excitement and nervousness, "I have found the woman I wish to spend the rest of my days with. Her name is Amma. She is kind, she is hard-working, and she makes my world complete. I have come to ask for your blessing to marry her." Kofi looked up, expecting to see a smile on his father's face. Instead, he saw a deep frown, a shadow crossing his features. The old man sat in silence for a long time, the air growing heavy. Finally, he spoke, his voice low and firm. "Kofi, my son, where is this woman from?" "She is from the village across the river, father," Kofi replied, a sense of unease creeping into his heart. His father shook his head slowly, his eyes filled with a deep sadness that seemed to stretch back through generations. "No, my son, it cannot be. You know our tradition. We do not marry from that village. Our ancestors set this rule long ago. A river may be easy to cross, but the river of tradition runs deep and cannot be disturbed." Kofi's heart sank. He felt as if the ground had been pulled from under his feet. "But father, why? What did their people ever do to ours? I love her. Isn't that what matters most?" "Love is a powerful thing, Kofi," his father said, his voice softening slightly, "but community is our strength. This is the way it has always been, and the way it must be. You must forget this girl." Kofi left his father's hut with a heavy spirit. The world, which had seemed so bright and full of promise just moments before, now felt gray and cold. How could a rule made by people long gone have such power over his happiness today? How could he tell Amma that their love was forbidden, not because of who they were, but simply because of where they were from? He walked to the river, the place that had been their sanctuary, and saw Amma waiting for him, her usual bright smile on her face. But the moment she saw his expression, her smile faded, replaced by a look of concern. "Kofi, what is it? What's wrong?" Taking her hands in his, Kofi told her everything his father had said. He watched as tears welled up in Amma's eyes, each one a dagger in his own heart. They stood there for a long time, the sounds of the flowing river a sad soundtrack to their shattered dreams. It felt like their love story was over before it had even truly begun. But Kofi was not one to give up. He loved Amma, and he loved his father and his village. He believed there had to be a way for both to exist. He spent days talking to the other elders, asking them about the history of this old rule. Most of them just shook their heads and repeated his father's words, "It is tradition." No one seemed to remember why the tradition had started in the first place. It was a rule without a reason, a wall without a foundation. Feeling lost, Kofi went to his grandmother, his father's mother. She was the oldest person in the village, her face a beautiful map of wrinkles, each line telling a story. He told her of his love for Amma and the wall of tradition that stood in their way. His grandmother listened patiently, her wise eyes never leaving his face. When he finished, she smiled a gentle, knowing smile. "Kofi, my child," she said, her voice like the rustling of dry leaves, "traditions are like a canoe. They are meant to carry us forward, not to keep us anchored in one place while the river of life flows by. Sometimes, a canoe gets old and leaky, and it no longer serves its purpose. A wise man does not sink with the canoe. He builds a new one. She told him a story. Many, many generations ago, there was a terrible misunderstanding between the two villages over a piece of farmland. It led to anger and bitterness, and the elders of that time declared that their people should never mix. The rule was created out of pain, not wisdom. But the reason for the pain had long been forgotten, leaving only the empty rule behind. Armed with this new understanding, Kofi felt a surge of hope. He realized he wasn't trying to break tradition. He was trying to heal an old wound that no one even remembered getting. He went back to his father, not with anger, but with respect and the story his grandmother had shared. "Father," he said calmly, "I understand that you want to protect our ways. But our ways should be built on love and unity, not on an ancient argument that has lost its meaning. Our ancestors created that rule because they were hurt. Are we to carry their pain forever, or can we, their children, choose to heal? Amma and I, our love can be the bridge that finally connects our two villages in peace, not the river that separates us." He proposed a meeting. An assembly of elders from both villages, right there, by the river that had kept them apart for so long. It was a bold idea, and at first, his father was hesitant, but he saw the passion in Kofi's eyes, not the rebellion of a stubborn boy, but the wisdom of a man fighting for a better future. He saw the truth in his son's words. Slowly, he nodded. "Let us call this meeting." The day of the assembly arrived. The elders from both villages met, wary at first. Kofi and Amma stood before them, hand in hand. Kofi spoke from his heart, sharing the story his grandmother had told him and pleading for a new beginning. He spoke of love, forgiveness, and the strength that comes from unity. He painted a picture of a future where their children could play together, their markets could thrive together, and their people could celebrate as one family. As he spoke, something incredible happened. The old, stern faces began to soften. Elders started sharing their own versions of the forgotten story, piecing together the past. They realized they had been holding onto a shadow for centuries. Emma's father then stood up and embraced Kofi's father. In that single, powerful moment, the old wall of tradition crumbled into dust. Laughter and joyous chatter filled the air, replacing the long silence between the villages. Kofi and Amma were married not long after, in a celebration unlike any other. It wasn't just a wedding between two people, it was a wedding between two villages. The river was no longer a border but a meeting place, a symbol of their unity. Their love story became a new tradition, a reminder that love is stronger than old rules, and that true tradition is not about being stuck in the past, but about building a better future together. Kofi and Amma taught everyone that the bravest thing you can do is question a path that no longer leads to a good place, and have the courage to build a new one, paved with love. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this story with me. If it touched your heart, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that celebrate the power of love and the human spirit. Until next time, stay blessed.